20 years. What a great turnout, and I think we're mostly happy the sun is not shining on us, right? So remarks are quick, right? So we can not face the sun. I'm John Pierpont, the Executive Director for Department of Workforce Services. Pleasure being here with all of you, celebrating our 20-year anniversary as a department. It's been an exciting month. We've been sharing with our staff what we've done each year through the 20 years, and so to see the historical perspective of where we started and where we are today is a remarkable journey. So I'd like to welcome today Governor Olene Walker's family. If y'all want to raise your hands. I think we have 50 plus family members here, so quite a tribute to your mom and your wife Myron and your grandmother and probably even some great grandkids here as well. So and mostly we're here to unveil the naming of our administration building as the Olene S. Walker Building as a part of our anniversary celebration. So we're excited to have you all here. Certainly want to acknowledge the presence of Governor Herbert and Governor Levitt, Jackie Levitt, the First Lady, and then Nina Sliding, who is representing the Walker family here today. So please join me in welcoming our dignitaries as well. A special welcome to Myron Walker. Myron, we're really pleased that you were able to make it today. It's an important event and an honor to have your wife recognized by naming the building after her. So we're very pleased that you're here and can be a part of this special honor. So thank you for all you've done to serve side by side with your wife for many years. Yeah. In addition, just to recognize all of the past executive directors that are here today. I want to acknowledge their presence. Certainly I've learned a lot from each one of them. There hasn't been many, I'm the fifth, and I observed each one of them and their leadership style and the things that they did to contribute to make this organization a great organization. And so just to recognize Bob Gross, who is here, Tawny Downing, Kristen Cox, and then the late Raylene Ireland as well. So just recognize the executive directors that have put a lot of time and effort into this agency and made it what it is today. So thank you very much. We also have, obviously, a lot of community partners here, government officials. I saw Senator Todd Weiler here. I want to recognize and thank all of them for their support of this department. We're never as good without our community partners and our collaboration with others. And so just want to recognize our partners that are an important part of what we do as a department. And then lastly, the 2,300 staff that we have in the department. We're streaming live to over 60 locations, plus with all of you here in person. So just to acknowledge the hard work of the past employees and the current employees, because we're not as good without the employees that do their part to make us great. So just to acknowledge all the employees, arousing applause, please. We have a lot to celebrate today as a 20-year mark for this department. I've been a public servant for 25 years now, and I was in my mid-20s when Governor Levitt and Lieutenant Governor Walker at the time said we're going to combine agencies, and Governor Levitt assigned Olene Walker to run a task force to look at all the different employment and training programs and what we might do to consolidate and provide a better service delivery mechanism for the constituents that we serve here in Utah. So at the time, there was a lot of disarray, right, Bob? A lot of resistance, I would say, for those of you that have been here for the duration. Not everybody was on board with that, but I saw that as an opportunity as a young kid to say, this makes sense, and this can be something real meaningful if we continue to work on this over years and years of time. And really, it's taken us a couple of decades to get where we're at. And it's been a remarkable journey, and really excited about the early 20s and where I'm at today, and really thrilled with what the department has done. So at the time, it was a radical shift. We had different agencies running different programs, and you can imagine if you're a consumer of those services, you have to go to multiple places to get served. And this was a consolidated, integrated model that would help better serve the public that needed our services. So it was radical, and it was innovative, and it was visionary. And we have to give credit to Governor Levitt and Governor Walker to know that this could be something special. And it's brilliant. And it's a national model that all states in this country are trying to achieve. And it's not easy. And we get multiple states still to this day coming and asking us, how did you do that? And so we give them the blueprint and we tell our story, and it's not without a lot of work and a lot of effort. And so we're just so happy that where we're at today. So 20 years ago, 5 agencies came together under one organization, which created the Department of Workforce Services. The front-facing or the operational divisions have become Workforce Development, Eligibility Services, Unemployment Insurance, Workforce Research and Analysis, and the Office of Child Care. That's what our front-facing divisions have become. But since the last several years, the legislature and our governor, Herbert, have added additional responsibilities to the department, which were always welcome. We haven't seen a program that we haven't been willing to try to implement and do well. So over time, the legislature has added the Refugee Services Office, the Housing and Community Development Division, and the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation. So we've grown in size and in responsibility over time. So now we broaden our scope to train and support refugees. I'll let the motorcycle go by. Leadership on issues of homelessness and affordable housing. Helping rural communities thrive, and preparing people with disabilities for the workforce and everyday life. We continue to assist individuals preparing and finding work, meeting the workforce needs of Utah's businesses, determine eligibility and administering all the public assistance programs for the state, running the best national unemployment insurance division in the state, or in the country, I should say, and continue to provide economic data and analysis necessary for good decision making on the Hill. Even with all these responsibilities, we know that developing the workforce is still a central element of our work. By strengthening Utah's workforce, we strengthen communities, families, and individuals. We help them chart their own path to success. Recognizing the transformation that's occurred over 20 years, it was important for us to revisit our mission and how do we deliver service when we've added additional responsibilities and divisions to our department. So with extensive research and intensive design work, and I'm actually surprised at how much work it is to define and identify a logo that represents all of what we do. We got input from the public. We had over 1,000 of our employees weigh in on which logo. We gave them 2 options. We boiled it down to 2 options that we thought would best define or identify a logo of what we do. And we've come up with what you see as the current logo, right? That's been served its purpose for 20 years now. Pat Swenson, I should mention, Pat was the first employee of the Department of Workforce Services. Raise your hand, Pat. I think Bob Gross hired Pat, right? So she was the first employee. So if you want a picture, get it with her, because she was the first employee of the department. So we'd want to unveil the logo with, like I mentioned, a lot of input from multiple stakeholders. There it is. So as you can see, the W is prominent, right? The white W in the middle, because our central focus is about workforce and helping people find employment, train them, employ them. You can see, if you look closely, there's 2 doors, right? Signifying opening doors for the people that we serve to improve their situation, to become self-sufficient and to be able to support their families and thrive in this state. So you can see that we open doors for many people with all the services that we provide. And then you can see the stairs, right, at the bottom. And that's upward mobility, providing opportunities for families and individuals to improve their situation. And so we think that represents all of our divisions in an effective way. So one of the other things that we've done is, because we're so unique in all of the different types of services that we provide, we've actually identified division logos. And we've stayed true to the W in the middle, and we've just given options to each of the division directors to change the colors slightly. So each division will have their own logo because they have their own set of responsibilities and service delivery expectations. And so each of the divisions now have their logo that still identifies up with the department. So we look forward to, we look back, but we also look forward to the future on what the next phases of this department will be. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Governor Mike Levitt, the inspiration for creating this department back in 1997. Governor Levitt signed Senate Bill 166 back in 1996, which created the department beginning 1997. So we will hear from Governor Levitt, and then shortly after Governor Levitt, we will hear from Nina Sliding, who is representing the Walker family today, and we'll proceed to that point. Thank you.
Governor Herbert, thank you very much for allowing Jackie and me to participate today. I would also like to extend a special greeting to the entire Walker family. It's there's such a closeness that has come through our service between our families, and I'm delighted to have all of you here. Also, many of my former colleagues, what a treat it is to be with you, and to those who currently serve in the Department of Workforce Services. May I say how proud I am of the work that this department has done over the past 20 years, serving such a powerful and important purpose for our citizens. And of course, today we have the privilege of being able to make the building in which that work takes place named after a very important citizen of our state and leader in our state, Olene Walker. This morning, I concluded to pull a segment of a history that I have been writing of my own service. It's not a published history, it's a private history. But I wrote a bit about Olene S. Walker, and I'd like to simply share it with you. Olene S. Walker is a remarkable woman, truly one of the great women in the history of Utah. I could not have had a better partner in service. While the office of Lieutenant Governor is separately or constitutionally separate from Governor, we made a decision early that we would function as one. We agreed that the offices we would share, it was to share every resource. We planned together, we worked as one. The Lieutenant Governor had statutory duties of her own to perform, but Olene was welcome in every meeting, though not expected at most. Our schedules were transparent internally. Olene chose her own personal staff, but they were integrated as part of the Governor's team. She agreed to accept additional duties beyond her statutory responsibilities. I trusted Olene. I depended on Olene. She represented the state of Utah and the governor thousands of times over the period of time we served together. I came to value Olene Walker's opinion. She could read the legislature like a watch. When there was a problem with legislative leadership, I'd just send Olene upstairs and she'd come back, problem solved. She spoke common sense and she'd give them truth in an unvarnished way. She managed complicated task forces and created new departments and sorted out knotty relationship issues. In American politics, there's often tension between the president and the vice president or the governor and lieutenant governor. It's considered part of the basic narrative. It just didn't happen here. I'm not aware of a single moment in the time we served together that I ever felt tension between us. Olene is one of the most original characters I've ever known. She was a triple-tasking, night owl, working mother of 7 who got a PhD on the side and helped run the family business. A glass ceiling breaker and a pioneer at every turn in her career, she was admired widely for her intellect. At the same time, she could put us in stitches just poking fun at herself. One morning, she came to a meeting late and explained how she had just set a new record from her house by putting her pantyhose on as she drove and blowing her hair out the window as she went to to get here in time for a meeting. The best part is that nobody laughed any harder than she did. I then wrote, the conclusion of this history is known from the beginning. The reins of the state of Utah were turned to Olene Walker as the 15th governor of Utah. It was one of the great privileges of my life. There needs to be a statue in the state capitol building. The inscription should simply say, Olene S. Walker, Utah's 15th governor, who paved the way for women and men. Until that happens, this building will stand as a monument to her service and our admiration for her. Olene, we love you.
This is a wonderful day for the Walker family, and I want to thank all of her colleagues, all of her family members and friends for coming and participating with us in this fun event. I also want to thank those who made this event possible, John Pierpont and Nate McDonald, for planning and organizing this and implementing the name change. I'd also like to thank Governor Mike Levitt. Thank you for your vision in choosing Olene as a running mate and then allowing her to take on meaningful tasks and to get things done. And then lastly, I want to thank Governor Herbert. He's been a great leader of this state, and he has been so kind and gracious to my father and to our family, and we are so grateful for his leadership. The Department of Workforce Services really represents everything my mom stood for. Olene was a great believer in people. She saw the potential in others, and as C.S. Lewis so eloquently stated, there are no ordinary people, and you have never talked to a mere mortal. And Olene truly believed this. She firmly believed that if individuals were given the right opportunities, they could rise above their circumstances and make better lives for themselves and for their families. This is why she was such a strong advocate of getting a good education. She knew that access to education and proper training were the keys to future success, and she wanted everyone to have the opportunity to be able to thrive in their environment. I think out of all of her titles and accomplishments, she was most proud of being called the governor who makes us read. To me, Olene's greatest legacy is that she truly cared about people. She took the time to listen to others, to empathize with their circumstances, and then she sought solutions to their problems. She was just not a woman of words, but she thrived on action. As you know, when she became governor, she decided she wanted to roll up her sleeves and get to work. And so she took on 14 very ambitious initiatives that she thought she could accomplish in just 15 short months. And she did. She made headway on most of them. And so it is no surprise that when given the challenge of creating a task force to work through the issues surrounding unemployment, she brought together the best and brightest minds to implement a plan to create what is now the Division of Workforce Services. She would be so proud to see how far this department has come today and how many lives have been improved and impacted by this department. I am confident that Olene is smiling down on us today. On behalf of our family, I want to thank you for this great honor to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Levitt and Nina, for those great remarks. I'd now like to introduce you to Governor Herbert, the best governor in the country, correct? Yeah. I'm certainly biased of that, but I do believe he is one of the strongest governors we have in this country, and we appreciate his leadership through the many years. When Governor Herbert first put out his objectives and goals as a governor, jobs were at the center of that. And it was the center of that when we were in the Great Recession. And the stress of the Great Recession on this department, probably nobody in this crowd here or streaming online knew that unless you were a part of it. And we continue to try to do our part because we know it takes an entire team to continue to create an environment that the governor has laid out for us in creating jobs and making sure people are employed, and we continue to support him in that effort. Whether it's 100,000 jobs in 1,000 days, or his recent rollout on Talent Ready Utah and building the workforce, we find ourselves in an important role of that. So please join me in welcoming Governor Herbert, and then we'll make our way over after Governor Herbert's remarks, and the two governors, myself and Nina, will unveil the sign that will name this building after Olene S. Walker. Governor Herbert.
Well, thank you, John, for that more than generous introduction, and I'm honored to be with you today. It's a beautiful day as we honor a beautiful lady, a leader, a visionary here today. And really, I can't overemphasize the gratitude we have, and on behalf of the people of Utah, for the work that's being done here by many of you here in Workforce Services. And it just struck me as Governor Levitt was talking and Nina, that we need to remember we're in the people business, and we're trying to, in fact, improve people's lives. And at the center of that effort really is the Department of Workforce Services, who is doing so much in so many areas to, in fact, lift people up and help improve people's lives. So I thank you for your good work, and again, I know and appreciate your work. I know and appreciate the good work of Governor Levitt and Governor Walker, and we recognize that here today. Tony Dungy, who's the former Super Bowl winning coach of the Indianapolis Colts, who I met at the U.S. Open, Myron, when we were there for a tennis opportunity there, said this: "The first step toward creating an improved future is developing the ability to envision it. Vision will ignite the fire of passion that fuels our commitment to do whatever it takes to achieve excellence. Only vision allows us to transform dreams of greatness into the reality of achievement through human action. Vision has no boundaries and knows no limits. Our vision is what we become in life." In the book of Proverbs, it talks about where there's no vision, the people perish. We see the success of visionaries here in the state of Utah because of our exceptional outcomes. It's taken the vision of Governor Levitt and then Lieutenant Governor Olene Walker to say we can do things better here when it comes to creating a department that has more effective opportunities and can become a model for the rest of the nation. Governor Walker was given the task by Governor Levitt to lead a task force that ended up creating the Department of Workforce Services. She led that efforts. She went to the legislature, as Governor Levitt has talked about, and came back and says, we've got it done. And the bill was 166, has been mentioned by John, and was signed by Governor Levitt into law. And the rest is really history as we see the continued excellence of this department. It's helping with job support, helping people find opportunities to sustain themselves by getting a job. They give temporary assistance for those who are in a difficult situation as a kind of a bridge from to economic opportunity. The unemployment benefits that we muster here to help people weather some of the difficult storms. I would say that one of the things we've talked about here in Utah is unprecedented partnerships. One thing that strikes me here today, as we see a partnership of what you do with Workforce Services with what happens in the private sector, as we merge those together to provide opportunities for the private sector to be empowered and for us to facilitate opportunities for economic sustainability for the people we represent. I would recognize, again, a partnership of Governor Mike Levitt, and probably the most important partner other than Jackie that Mike Levitt ever had was Olene Walker. I recognize how important that role of Lieutenant Governor is in helping as a team to go out and partner and get things done. I think we celebrate that partnership here today. Again, Department of Workforce Services is now our second largest and one of our most effective, if not the most effective department we have here in state government today. John talked about we've added a few things here with the help of the legislature, the Department of Rehabilitation, which made a smooth transition here to help those people with disabilities. Again, people that need a pathway forward to help them to help themselves. In addition to leading out on many key different issues, I'm pleased to see Workforce Services leading out on many important things which are now of national prominence. Intergenerational poverty. We've had the opportunity to present in Congress. What we're doing here in Utah is the #1 state in America lifting people out of poverty. Our poverty rates in Utah are 1/3 the national average, and our youth poverty is 1/2 the national average. Again, a tribute to a lot of the great work here on situational and intergenerational poverty that Workforce Services is in fact addressing. Our services with refugees, not an uncontroversial issue we see across the country today, and yet Utah has been able to find a compassionate way to make sure we have people that are integrated into our system here, refugees that are escaping terrorism, and yet protect the safety and welfare of our people here in Utah. We found ways to be compassionate and effective in dealing with refugees and those who immigrate to our state and our country. Our veterans' unemployment. Our veterans' unemployment, where those people we cannot thank enough for the service they've rendered to our community, our society, to our country, and service in the military, unemployment rate is below 2.8% here in the state of Utah. A remarkable number because of the good work of many of you here. Our homelessness, our affordable housing, our idea of having continuous education for adult as a pathway forward if people have to be retooled, retrained because of the changing dynamics of the marketplace. Again, all centered here in Workforce Services. I think the idea that we've had here to fulfill the vision that was created by Governor Levitt and Governor Walker, we see the fulfillment of that vision here today. And one of the reasons we gather here today is we recognize Olene Walker with the name change of this building. Let me just mention a couple of more things here. Again, it's easy for us to talk about Workforce Services and talk about Governor Olene Walker. But she was more than that, as Governor Levitt talked about, a visionary person herself, certainly a trailblazer, a leader in so many ways. It's easy to say the first woman, this or that, but it's too simple. That is too simple, and I think does not expound upon her talent. She was not only, before in politics, a great businesswoman with Myron and the success they had as a partnership there and their own company. But as she became a legislator, she was a main figure in getting things done as a legislator. Again, having taken over at the depths of the Great Recession, I can appreciate more than most the vision she had of creating a rainy day fund for the state of Utah, which allowed us to get through that very difficult economic time and bridge that gap until we got back on our feet to become the best performing economy in America. That rainy day fund, that vision that she had there was invaluable in helping us in our success. We all know, I think her inaugural address, she said, "Education is in my DNA." And although I see all of us as governors recognizing the significant importance of education in our lives as a community to have a continued long-term success economically, Olene Walker really kind of raised the bar for us and held fast on a reading program we still have in place today, knowing that if you cannot read by the end of third grade, you're going to have a hard time learning the rest of your school years. So the fact that she's in fact helped raise the bar on education. My education director, Tammy Pfeiffer, is at an education retreat with other education directors in America, in California, just today as we speak. I got a text from her yesterday that said as she was introduced to some other education directors and notified them that she was from Utah, people came up and then kind of said, "Oh, we are just so honored to be in your presence," because all of us are now trying, in fact, to follow the example of education in the state of Utah. That's a tribute to those who've gone before, certainly Olene Walker and her efforts on education to make it such a prominent part of her own administration. So again, there's probably a lot of things we could say about Olene Walker, that she's done, and we are the beneficiaries of her leadership here today. Again, I appreciate Mike Levitt, who's been a mentor to me and has been a visionary in himself in helping raise the bar when it comes to the success of Utah. We all stand on the shoulders of giants who have gone before, and we have two that we recognize here today. Last but not least, let me just recognize the partner that Olene had in Myron. Again, nobody does it alone. We know the challenge, and Jackie could speak to this probably better than most, the challenge of being the spouse of the governor or the lieutenant governor and the responsibilities that come there. It's not easy. The fact that there's so many family members here, the fact that so many people of Utah say we know Olene Walker and we love Olene Walker is a tribute to the family and to Myron for his support, for his willingness, in fact, and support of Olene and her responsibilities as lieutenant governor, as legislator, as a business partner, as just a good member of the community. One thing that we all can say, everybody loves Olene Walker. And we express our gratitude to Olene for her leadership, for the benefits that we receive here today, as we have an opportunity to name this building the Olene S. Walker Workforce Services Building. Congratulations to the Walker family, to Olene. Thank you, Myron, for sharing Olene with us. Good luck, and God bless us all.
So happy anniversary, you all. We're going to invite the Walker family to join us in the unveiling of the sign, so if we can all make our way over there. And then we have a reception in our large conference room on the first floor that you can all join and socialize and enjoy a treat. So